Hello again, my Moors, Michelangelos, my Rouses Point Raphaels, and anybody else who wants to join us on a little artistic adventure today. And today I'm really excited about what we're going to work on because today we're going to draw a dinosaur. Now, I've loved dinosaurs ever since I was a little kid. I would look out my bedroom window in the morning and I would see dinosaurs just walking across my backyard, drinking out of my swimming pool. I'm just kidding. I didn't have a swimming pool. But I did love dinosaurs and I still do. So if you love dinosaurs or if you love drawing and you want to join us, we'll get started. And I'm going to start by drawing very, very lightly, like we always do. And I'm going to make an oval right in the center of my paper. And it's very important that I draw very lightly. Now I'm going to draw a little bit darker than I normally would, just so you can see it on the screen. And I'm going to make my oval about 1/3 the size of my paper. Now, if you want to know what 1/3 is, it means that my oval is going to be just about the same size as this space where there's no oval and this space where there's no oval. So I've got 1, 2, 3 spaces that are all about the same size. And if your oval is a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, well, that's okay. But whenever you're ready, go ahead and try to lightly draw an oval right in the middle of your paper. Now I'm going to draw a second oval. This one is going to be slightly smaller and it's going to be up in the corner so that the bottom of this oval is just about even with the top of my first oval. And again, I'm drawing it lightly so that if I want to erase it, or if I decide that I want to make it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, a little bit higher or a little bit lower, well, that's going to be easy to do. I'm going to connect the two with a couple lines that go from the top of this oval to the back of this oval, and from the front of my large oval to about the middle of my smaller oval. The next thing I'm going to do is add another, you guessed it, another oval. That's right about in the middle of my large oval, and it's going to go just below. And this is going to be the upper leg of my Tyrannosaurus Rex. You can see how it comes forward a little bit, and it's a little bit lower than the body. I don't need this guideline anymore, so I'm going to erase that. And add more to the leg. I'm going to have a line that comes back a little bit, and then from about the middle of this oval, I'll draw another line, and that is the middle part of the leg. And the middle part of the leg goes about halfway between the body and the bottom of the paper. And for the last part of the leg, I'm going to have the leg coming forward again, just like this, almost straight down, but maybe coming forward a little bit. And then I'm going to have a line that goes straight across. And that is going to be the basic shape of my dinosaur's leg. To do the other leg, I'm going to have a line that goes about from the middle of this foot, because it's a little bit farther away, and I'm going to kind of copy or imitate the same shape as this leg, this leg is going to be basically the same as the near leg. And then as the middle part of the leg comes forward, the same thing is going to happen with my farther leg, so that both legs have basically the same shape. And if I drew it once, I should be able to draw it fairly easily the second time. Now, this is actually the second time that I've done this video on how to draw a T-Rex, because the first time that I did it, I actually overheard one of my students say, it looks more like a raptor than a T-Rex. And when I looked at his drawing, I realized that he was a very good artist, and he was probably right. It did look a little bit more like a raptor than a T-Rex. But I gave him an F because I can't have that kind of disrespect happening in my class, which is too bad because his drawing was really good. So I'm going to give him little teeny tiny arms. I'm just going to come down from the front of my oval and come straight down and then forward. And like I said, a T-Rex had little tiny arms. A T-Rex had little tiny arms with 2 fingers. For his tail, I'm just going to go from the top and have the tail get smaller and smaller as it gets farther away from his body. I'm going to start at the bottom of the oval. And if you want to, you can have the tail going right off the paper. You can have the tail curling up. I'm going to have mine curling forward and then maybe coming right out in front of the leg to give my picture a little bit of depth. Now it looks like the tail is actually curling forward in front of his leg. And again, you want to have the tail go all the way to the bottom of that oval and show that his tail gets smaller as it gets farther away from his body. Now, when I was a kid and I used to draw dinosaurs, I used to have the tail dragging on the ground. But scientists say now that dinosaurs didn't drag their tails on the ground. And so I'm going to update my picture a little bit. I'll erase this last guideline. And the basic shape of my dinosaur is now finished. Now, as I start adding some of the details onto my dinosaur, I'm going to begin with his little arms, and I'm going to give him a second arm with 2 little fingers. And I'm going to erase this guideline that I don't need anymore. I'm also going to start putting some toes on his foot, and I'll start just below the bottom of his foot, and I'll angle upwards towards his heel. And then this outside toe isn't going to be quite as long. And what I'm trying to do is show that he has 3 toes and that the middle toe is longest. I'll do the same thing with this foot. I'll have it angle up towards his foot, and then I'll make it a little bit shorter than his middle toe. I'll have it come to a point so it looks like he's got claws. I'll erase my guidelines. going to put a little bit of a claw back here. And to show that his tail is turning towards me, I'm going to go from the top of his tail. I'm going to curve this line over to make it look like his tail is actually turning towards me. For the details of his head and neck, I'm going to start with the jaw, and I'm going to have it go from the bottom almost to the back of his head. I'll have it curl up, and then from here, I'm going to go to the front of his torso. I'm going to put a little curve right here to show where his eye is. And then for the actual eye, I'll draw a straight line and then a curve. And maybe a little dot inside. And now for the most important feature, of course, his mouth. I'll start out going up a little bit, then down, and then up again, and it goes almost all the way back to his jaw. The bottom of his jaw, I'll make a little bit more of a straight line. I'll put a little bit of flesh right here. I'll erase my guidelines and give him, of course, a row of sharp, terrible teeth. They say a T-Rex had teeth that were about 6 inches long. If you can imagine about half the length of a ruler, that's how big his teeth were. A little line or a dash for his ear, and a similar shape for his nostril. And at this point, all my T-Rex needs is some color and some detail. Now you can color your T-Rex green or brown or purple. He may have stripes or spots. Nobody really knows for sure what the T-Rex look like. Some people say that a Tyrannosaurus Rex, in fact, most dinosaurs actually were covered with feathers. But however you color your T-Rex is up to you. I'm going to start out by adding some black lines to make my lines pop out a little bit more, and it makes the drawing have a little bit more definition, especially when I add some color. So I'm going to start, like I said, with some black lines, either with a black crayon, black colored pencil, or black marker. So I've gone over all my pencil lines with a black marker, and I think it gives my drawing a lot more pop, a lot more energy. So the only thing left to do now is to add some color and maybe work in the background. Well, my T-Rex is in full color and it's all finished, ready to hang in the refrigerator. I think I'm going to need a bigger refrigerator. I hope you enjoyed working on your dinosaur drawing. I hope you're looking forward to working on our next project together. But until we do get together, stay creative, stay safe, stay cougar strong. We'll see you again soon.